Good evening, everyone. Uh, we have an eminent speaker with us, Payal Dalal, who is the faculty director for JD Institute of Fashion Technology. So I welcome on behalf of Cosmo People and the Nest Talks. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you.
I'll just introduce you. She's having honorary PhD in textile designing, faculty director in JD Institute of Fashion Technology, Mumbai. Payal Dalal is strong on management principles, a top-notch academician, and a motivational leader who brings out the best in every student. Dynamic, dedicated, selfless, and passionate. She is the on-ground driving force behind JD's position of pre-eminence as a design institute. So I welcome you from Cosmo People and Nest Talks audience.
Thank you so much, RIMAY.
Thank you so much. So we'll straight forward to the session. So here my first question to you. When you decided to get into the fashion designing, so what was the when you have decided this, and what was there in your mind when uh, chosen this kind of segment field where you wanted to work for your complete life?
Okay. So, when I was a child, I always thought of being a teacher, and because I used to look up to my teachers and they were my inspiration in school. And how I got into fashion design was because my dad and my brother owned a boutique. And so since childhood, I've grown up seeing textiles and clothes and something like that. So that's how I got into designing because I have done my graduation from BA also, and then when I was doing at that time, we didn't have a degree course in fashion design. So obviously, like my parents also said that you must have a degree in something, and then you can do this also side by side. So I got into fashion design, and then slowly, like I have worked earlier as a designer, freelance designer. I have worked with Jet Airways where I was doing their costumes. And then I got into teaching because that was always there on my mind. So later on in life, I decided that, okay, let's get into teaching now. And now it's been like almost 23 years that I am into teaching.
That's really fantastic. I want to ask you, Mrs. P, it's been years now that you are working into fashion industry and the fashion, segment. But it seems that when you must have begun with all these activities, so at that time it is very much difficult for you to get into the fashion because, as you said, that your parents were thinking that you should have certain a backup stream or the backup field where you should look for it. So what was the challenge at that time, and how you got you convince your parents or you convince yourself that this could be your a chosen industry where you can explore your career?
Like I said, it was difficult, it was challenging, but my parents had been very cooperative because, like I told you, that my dad was also into the same business, into textiles and all. So it wasn't that difficult for me. But even today, remind that we face challenges where we have to convince parents even now to do it as a course because they still have that thing that you must have another degree, which is like a BCom BA thing. Some parents even today are not supporting their children to do this, but I think I was one of the lucky ones who managed because then, yeah, my dad at some point knew that I would help him with his business. So it was not that difficult for me.
That's really wonderful. Actually, your dad's profession is at that time he had a boutique, so that was the you can say the convincing point where you are able to convince them that you can get into this field as well. And it is
Yes,
very
like,
much difficult
they can say
nowadays,
that
as you
fashion was
rightly
invented
said,
by
that it is very much difficult right now.
it is very difficult because there are parents
Yeah,
at this moment also, like, they say that
yeah,
nahi
that is
degree
correct.
to honi hi chahiye beta. This is like a side thing that they want their children to do. So at times, even we as teachers have to convince parents, but we still manage.
Absolutely, but I have seen that there is a progress into fashion industry and the fashion segment, and even there are a number of different kind of platforms which are there where fashion designer getting exposure. Also, the fashion weeks are there, or the boutique culture is also there. There are clients and the customers. Means that I'm not wrong. अगर जब तक कस्टमर नहीं है किसी बेसिक या फैशन डिजाइनर के लिए, तब तक it is not possible for them that this industry can come up and they can bang into the industry. And even people or the students, or you can say the buyers or the merchandisers, even a big brands who is working to merchandising or selling the fashion designers costumes into their outlets. This culture is recent, if I'm not wrong. It was really challenging when
Yes.
you must have started. So I need to understand that how the commercialization of your profession is possible and what kind of challenges is being faced by the students. That how they can introduce themselves into the market and how they can make it commercial, work commercial for them.
So like when the students pass out from here, we train them, right from the scratch. So there are many students who want, at the end of it, they want to start off with their own brand. So we train them to do so. And the other thing that they face is a lot of competition nowadays because, like you said, that everybody wants to get into the fashion industry because that's the in thing now. So and obviously because the girls want to change their wardrobe probably every week. So there is a lot of competition because we have many students who want to do it, and we have many competitors like brands who are giving them clothes which are you know very very affordable clothing, but then it is not sustainable. So here at JD, what we teach them is, sustainable clothing. We stand on three pillars. So it is sustainability, innovative, and eco-friendly clothing. So right from day one, our students are trained in such a manner that whatever they are using, even the textiles that they are using, have to be sustainable textiles. They have to create designs which will last long, and so in a way, they are out of the crowd and they stand out, and obviously, then it's the creativity also which stands out. So that's what our students are doing.
That's correct. Absolutely correct. Where students are going to explore
I
themselves,
have
that they
lost
need
you.
to
I've lost you.
do the
I can't hear
marketing,
you.
they need to have understanding the customer. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I've lost you again.
Okay. I will come again with the question. You rightly said that there is a students who needs to understand the commercialization, making their own beauty and making their brand, promote themselves. There are n number of factors which must be working out. Just like an investment, you can say the marketing part, the customer management. You can say the new innovative designs needs to be introduced. The brand needs to be known by their USPs also. There has to be certain thing which they can stand themselves differently into the market as compared to the competition as well. So I need to understand. Let's take it a little bit back. That I need to understand means when I started, मतलब मेरे बचपन में मैं टेलर के पास जाता था अगर मुझे कपड़े सिलाने थे, तो वो एक टिपिकल वैसे टेलर का शॉप रहता था कि जहाँ पे हम लोग कहीं से एक पैंट पीस या शर्ट पीस खरीदते थे एंड वी यूज्ड टू गो टू द टेलर, वो एक मेजरमेंट्स लेके हमें कपड़े रहता. Now there's the fashion designing, or you can say it would be like a status quo for everyone, or into the society also. कि एक इसका एक वजन है, वेटेज है कि I do have costumes from so and so brand or so and so fashion designer. So there are two things. One is the need, and another one is the luxury side of the fashion design.
Yeah.
Am, am I correct for this?
Yes. The
So I
luxury
need to
side.
understand. Yeah, please.
Yeah, so when we are starting our own brand, we need to see what we are catering to. Either you cater to the mass, where definitely you're going to make a lot of money because you're giving them what they want. When you are catering to the elite class, or somebody like say the Ambanis, then obviously you have a restriction because you're only creating for that particular segment. Then it becomes a little difficult. But if you talk about money wise, then everything is the same because the class you're going to charge a bomb and mass you're going to earn because you created it for like a large number of people. So, but luxury brand nowadays is getting more into the market because every second shop that we see on a street is going to be a boutique or a brand that is there. But luxury brand is only where people will understand your brand and then they will create and come to you for that particular, because you're giving them that quality of clothing that they are wanting.
Absolutely. Means the brand awareness or making a brand or the luxury side of brand is the most important factor. I need to understand in the perspective of the students when they are coming to the JD Institute, then
I've lost you
how
again.
the fashion designing thing. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. I want to ask you a question in perspective of the student when they are coming to the JD Institute. Then how you JD Institute help them out to get into this profession? What is the procedure and what are the stages that they will go through and become a fashion designer?
So, like I told you earlier, also we train them right from the scratch. Okay, we have a degree program. Are you there? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I'm here. I'm here. Yes, yes. Everyone can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, so like we teach them right from the scratch. We teach them, how to do illustrations, put their ideas on paper, draping, and when they are passing out at the end of the course, whether it is a 1 year course or a 3 year degree program that they're doing with us, they have to do a collection. So they are doing a fashion show at the end of the year, and they're presenting their collection. Now, this is something where they, need to work in a team. So, the team that they're going to work in, they obviously as students they're going to have fights and clash of opinions and all that is going to happen. But when they see their collection on the ramp with professional models on wearing their own creations and all, the satisfaction that they have, and once the show is done, when they come back to us, they tell us that, okay, ma'am, whatever we've done in the year is there right in front of you. So the satisfaction, it's not only the student satisfaction, but yes, when we convince the parents, and got them into designing field, that is when parents realize that the choice that their child has made is not a wrong child, because not a wrong choice, because they've seen the hard work. Okay, and it's a competition among students, so there are some people who even win the show. So that's when they realize that they are one step higher than the other one when they won an award. So basically it is like right from teamwork to clashes to talking to colors to getting your own fabric. Sometimes we have had students who created fabrics out of a cigarette butt, like, because we believe in sustainability. So we've also had students who created fabric out of aloe vera. So we're training them to use whatever natural resources that we can and help them be different and stand out of the crowd. So once they pass out from here, they are in a better position to deal with the market.
That's correct. Means students will go with the different kind of levels. First of all, they will learn the things and they will start implementing practically as well. In the fashion shows also they can showcase their talent, their dresses and their designs, and it's very satisfactory for them when their creativity they can see in front of their eyes, and even that will be applauded by the audience. That is the most important factor because that is going to give them the confidence to go into the real market and showcase their designs and make it commercial. I wanted to ask you that is there any kind of a different kind of a courses which has been offered by the JD Institute? Just wanted to understand whether there will be different kind of a stages like certified courses or the diploma courses or the degree courses. So what kind of courses is being offered and how student can get opted those courses?
Okay. So we have a 1 year diploma course which is affiliated to the Maharashtra State Board of Government, the vocational education. And we have a 2 years program which is fashion business management, and we have a 3 years advanced diploma and a degree program. So we have, and for a degree program they need to be a 12th pass, and for a diploma they need to be a 10th pass. We do not have any entrance exams because we believe that this field is a creative field, and to get into a creative field we cannot take an entrance exam like maths or aptitude test or something like that, because then that does not bring out the creativity. So it's like a walk-in admission for everybody.
That's correct. I want to ask you one more question that if at all a student who is looking for getting into the fashion designing and if at all they have different kind of, as you rightly said that there is a certain kind of social pressure or the parental pressure that they are not giving the preference for mainstream kind of a learning into this industry. So in that case, what could be the USPs which we can tell to the parents that what is the scope of this industry, how their kid or their children could explore themselves into this as a serial career also. So what could be the career opportunities after they pass out from the Fashion Designing Institute?
Okay, a career opportunity one is being a fashion designer. That's the basic thing. Then they can be a costume designer. They can be a fashion stylist. They can be a merchandiser or visual merchandiser. They can get into, just illustrator, being an illustrator, where you are doing, putting ideas of other people on paper because they're not good at drawing. Then you can also be a pattern maker, where you are just going to cut the patterns for them and give it. You can even be a grader. You can just manufacture it for them. You can create samples for them. So the opportunities are many now. You can even get into fashion blogging and fashion writing, journalism, because we even offer a communication course. You can do fashion photography.
Right, means there are different kind of levels or different kind of segments under the fashion designing. They can offer different kind of streams which has been offered by the fashion industry.
Yes,
I know that JD Institute students has been part of the Bollywood projects also. They have designed for the certain films, certain kind of celebrities as well. So how fashion designer can approach to the Bollywood industry to get the project? Because if I'm not wrong, they should have experience with them, right? But until and unless they do
yes.
different kind of a work or the experimentations, then how anyone can approach to this industry and can get signed up by the producer or the director?
So they need to initially assist somebody. They need to assist a designer, a well-known designer, and they can also get into shoots by doing styling and assisting stylists. So basically, they have to start from assisting, not just get on to being a big designer and expecting that a Bollywood director would come to you and get you on board with them. It's not that easy. Like people think that fashion designer करना तो बहुत easy है. क्या है इसमें? It's as difficult as you doing, a science stream or even say CA for that matter, because uh, what people think, like even if I talk about a film called Fashion, whatever they've shown in the film Fashion is just exactly the same way, because it's not just glamour that you see. Glamour is on the other side. Like for you, it might be glamour, but when it comes to us, it is the real hard work, because we have to deal with many people. We have to deal with the karigars. We have to deal with the, the textile people. We have to get our fabrics in place. We have There are so many things, because even if the textile is bleeding, then the sample is going to be rejected. Or when you want to get into films and all, there are tantrums that these stars throw. So you have to deal with all these things, and you have to be calm. You can't be like hyper and just get into films, because you need patience in this industry, a lot of patience in this industry, and you also need to be calm and ready to learn every day, because fashion is all about learning every day. You can't just, like, if you've done a 1 year course, you're not just over with it. You have to learn every day, because fashion is changing, trend is changing, style is changing every single day. So we have to be in touch with the books. We have to research a lot. Even if you're a pass out, you have to do that.
Yeah, rightly said. I wanted to ask you one more question that into this particular thing. Is this is it right that Fashion Week could be a platform from where they can brand themselves and they can get their brand aware into the market? And even a line question to this, that there are certain kind of season like autumn, then spring, then winter, then summer. You just said right now that the trends are changed or the fashion is being changed. And as per the seasons also, it is going to be changed. So you need to keep your updates and upgrades with all the trends what is going right now. Is there any kind of equations or the formulation to make ourselves understand, or is there any academic section where students are doing such kind of learning out of it?
Yes, there is a session where, which is a forecasting session, where we teach students how to predict fashion for the next season. Okay, because forecasting is very important. Like if you don't know your colors well, if you don't know what fabric is going to be in trend, because whatever we design over here is according to the season, according to the occasion. If you're doing costume, then it has to be according to the character of the person in the movie or your TV serial or whatever it is. But they have to basically keep updated themselves by visiting various sites, doing a lot of window shopping, because that's the way they will know what is in trend. Like we don't expect students to just come out with a new design every day, because it's not possible. They have to keep up with the trend. They should know that okay, today is today the trend is mask, wearing the same mask and the same outfit. So if they know what they're doing, that's fine. They are still into the business. But if they've lost touch, then they're going to have a tough time. Fashion Week also helps them, because that's the
Absolutely.
platform that they get.
Absolutely. Forecasting of the fashion is the most important factor. That only gives you the leverage into the competition as well, that you can introduce the upcoming trends, upcoming fashion into the real market, and even customer or the consumer can get such kind of a trend setting products or the clothing from that particular brand. I want to ask you next question that what exactly the this I'm not sure whether this question related to you or not. What exactly the fashion styling is?
So
Is this the
fashion
relevant
style,
question?
yes, yes. Fashion styling is basically, styling somebody or deciding a look of a person right from the hair to the footwear. You will decide a person's makeup. You will decide what kind of a bag that person is carrying, what kind of glasses that person would wear, what kind of accessories the person is going to wear. Everything, right from top to bottom, is what styling is. Your hair, makeup, your footwear, the way you present yourself. It could be a normal black t-shirt, but how you pair it up with accessories or maybe different kind of scarves or something, that is fashion styling, which is very much in trend now.
Yeah, even we have seen that fashion designer is different and the fashion styler is different.
Yes.
And also the makeup team is there, means which when we see the celebrity or someone, they have their own team. That styling is being done by somebody else, or the designing is done by somebody else. Then beauty and the makeup is being done by someone else. So this is
Yeah.
really a complete, yeah.
It's all interrelated. So a fashion stylist also will source your clothes. So it may not be every time a designer who is involved, but it could be brands also. They could pick up stuff depending on whom they're styling and for what they're styling. So that makes a difference. If it is just for a video shoot or something, then they can pick it up from brands and style the person accordingly. There is a lot of sourcing that they have to do. So when I said that they have to do a lot of research and keep up to the trend, that is a stylist who will always have to do that. Whereas a designer can still skip that because he has to create something new. So that is his imagination that is he's going to put into practice. But yes, when he's imagining also, he has to know what colors are going to be in trend, what kind of fabrics are going to be in trend, and what is the season that he's going to cater to. So there are these two different segments only of designing of fashion. But a fashion designer can also be a fashion stylist.
That's really wonderful. As the fashion designer play both the roles, and they should be aware of the styling also when they are designing the clothes.
Yes,
Yeah.
because
I
when
want
you're
to.
designing, you have to design according to a person's personality. You cannot just design out of the blue. Like if I had to design, say something for Aishwarya Rai, I have to keep her in mind and then design. I have to keep her color complexion, the way she presents herself, everything in mind and then design. I can't just randomly design like I'm designing for somebody who's just walking on the street. Then that differs like when we spoke about the brand, luxury brand, and when we're creating for the mass. So that's where your designer plays the role.
That's correct. That's correct. I will ask you a specific question. If certain brand is approaching to the fashion designer, let's take a corporate brand who wants to launch a new collection for a certain season, and if that corporate brand is approaching the fashion designer, then what would be the procedure from the fashion designer? What would be the
I've lost, I've lost
things?
you
Means
again.
just I need to understand the process.
I've
Yeah.
lost you again.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll just come again with the question. If any corporate brand is approaching to the fashion designer for launching their new collection, so what would be the process could be followed by the fashion designer? This question might be helpful for the upcoming designer, that what would the process is involved till the launch of the new collection. What is the procedure which fashion designer follows to provide the service to the corporate brand?
So when we're talking of the corporate brands approaching a designer, so that designer basically is working for that corporate brand, right? Is that
Yeah,
what
that
you
is
meant?
correct.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So when we have to launch something, we have like a process where we would definitely have a brand ambassador, because I think in India that really has a good impact. When you have brand ambassadors launching something for you, because nowadays the youth is just behind Bollywood or behind Hollywood or Tollywood, anybody, where they want to look up to somebody and then dress accordingly. So if you have a brand ambassador and then he's launching, and then obviously when you're giving away goodies or offering them discounts and all that would help them more. But when it comes to designer things, it is very difficult to give offer goodies and discounts initially, because that's what you're launching. We need to know that this market is not for the mass; it is for the class. So designers will have their presentation in a way of fashion show, or it would just be a meet and greet where they have this whole entire collection coming out. So it's like a party that has been thrown for people who want to know about this new product or new garment or the line, the collection that has been presented. So they would have parties or it's a fashion show. So the basic would be having a fashion show where you've invited people, certain segment of people, and they know what is going to be in trend or what is offered by this particular brand.
That's correct. Means there are different kind of a commercial aspect also, that how you are going to launch the collection. The fashion show is also part of it, where you are going to launch the collection. Uh, Same question, I would just explain you that the process means the sketching is there, selection of fabric is there, then designing of the fabric. So how this process, the technical process, I need to understand one part of it, and the second part of it is that what are the skills which are required if anybody wants to get into the fashion designing. So is there any kind of a skill sets, or those skills could be helpful for them to get
The
into this
skill set
industry?
is only be creative and be open minded because fashion is
Okay,
all about creativity. If you want to copy, then we have many, brands copying from different other brands, and you get a Manish Malhotra even on the street. So
right.
that is not designing, that is not creativity. But what Manish has created is creative, is a design. So there is a difference between designing. So the designer would do a lot of research where first he would do fashion forecasting. If he has to produce it for the next season, that is, if we are talking about the next year, the summers, then he will decide onto the fabrics, which would be cottons. Then he would sit with his textile designer and create those certain kind of fabrics which are not available in the market. you know that is very important because again you need to stand out of the box. So he would do that. He would also see to it that he has bright colors. He would also see to it that whatever design he is creating is going to be accepted by the mass. If again created for the mass, if for the class, again it has to be accepted. But then the designing would be different for mass and class because mass is generally something that we are doing on a common ground, and not everybody would like to wear what Ranveer Singh is wearing. So, that is going to be different. But right from selecting the fabric, or I would say the yarn stage, where they're selecting the threads also, the weaving process also has to be taken care of. And then the finishing of the fabric, the finishing of the garment is very important because everybody does not like to wear clothes just for, like a month or 2 months. They would like to keep it for a long time when it is a designer piece. And also now because most of the designers are doing sustainable garments. So finishing is very important because that is going to be the USP of any person who's going to sell that garment.
Absolutely. I will ask you the another question, that if any student is looking for any kind of a course opt into the JD Institute, then you also said there is a textile designing. That fashion designer is going to the textile designing, so that could be also one of the stream which comes under the fashion segment. So I need to understand that what course should be selected by the students and why.
See, it depends on their interest. Now, if I say that they can go in for textile designing, then there's too much of science involved because there are chemicals involved in designing. We have to dye the fabric. We have, a process that has to be followed. And if somebody who is not interested in that, and if I force him to take that, it's not going to work for him. Whereas fashion designing is something which would interest a wide segment because it's creativity. Anybody who is good at thinking and imagination and who wants to do something out of the box can get into designing. Textile designing is a little restrictive, and over the years we've seen students not really interested in textiles because they have a lot of acids that they have to use, and all those things which really don't. That one of the reasons for them getting into fashion designing is that they don't want to do the school maths and science. So,
That's
any
correct.
person has to
Uh,
come to us and then we would recommend a course particularly for them when we talk to them. It has to be a one-on-one counseling. So the counselors that we have at JD are trained in such a way where they can, understand the person's needs. Like for me, I have done textile designing because I always like different kind of fabrics. I like to work with, sustainable fabrics. But for somebody else, it could be designing because he's just creating something different with whatever sources are
Absolutely.
available. We need to understand the person and then tell them that okay, this course is the right course for you.
Absolutely. Means when anybody is approaching to you, the counselor is going to access their profile, means the personal, their skill sets,
Yes,
their interests also. Accordingly, you can suggest them what could be the best segment or whichever would be the suitable segment for the fashion industry. They can opt the courses out of it. I will come to the next question that now if suppose a fashion designer is a little bit aware or the brand is aware into the Indian industry, there is a bigger market available internationally also. So this question is related to the few designers, fashion designers who are established in India. Uh, so if they want to introduce themselves into the international market, so how they can give the treatment, how they can approach to the international market. One. Second thing is there any difference when they're approaching to the Indian fashion market and when they're approaching to the international designing market? So what will be the difference and how they can solve their challenges into this?
okay. Here again, I would say that the fashion weeks that we have, even internationally, really helps the designers to, present their collection on international standards. So basically, when you go international, what we have noticed is that the love for Indian clothes is too much. It's actually the opposite. In India, we like the Western culture. In abroad, they like the Indian culture. So it's not really very difficult for people to go there and present themselves and get a name for themselves because what they're doing here, as according to the Indian standards, is definitely high because our culture, Indian culture, is full of we have so many different things that is not available internationally. So when we do all these things and present a collection internationally, that really helps a designer. And when they're doing the Indian Indian segment, yes, they have to keep in mind again. For us, it's mainly the seasons, the occasion, and the festive thing that comes.
Absolutely, I like one of your analysis that international market likes the fashion designing from the Indian market, and in the similar way that we like the international design. The relevant question is that do we follow the foreign fashion into our Indian industry or the fashion industry? What is your view about it? That do we fashion the international influence, the international fashion influence into our Indian fashion also?
Yes, we do have in the Western influence in our dressing, in our designing, but we do have a touch of India in it. We would do embroidery on it. We would use Indian fabrics for them because at the end we are Indians and we love our culture. So whatever, even if we are wearing a gown, we would like if we are doing it for the international market, the gown would be a lacy gown. If we're doing it for the Indian market, it would be lacy gown but with embroidery because at the end, embroidery is what everybody wants.
Right, that means there should be certain kind of a flavor which can be added to it and then it can be commercialized into the local market also.
The Indian masala is a must.
Yeah, that is
Indian
correct. So that people can relate themselves with that fashion as well. Otherwise, it will be very much difficult to adopt a very new or very creative. Even I have seen that in the fashion weeks there are. I'm not sure whether those dresses or those designs are impractical to use also in day-to-day life as well.
No, there are many designs which can be practically used, but like I said, we have that notion that इंडियन है तो फिर एम्ब्रॉयडरी तो दिखना ही चाहिए या जटैग मटैग
Right.
होना ही चाहिए they will we will not
Right.
think of something which is very subtle but looks classy. We have like a very small segment who would cater to such garments which are internationally standard kind of a thing where they don't have embroidery at all. They use very earthy colors. There is no glitter to it, so we have like a small segment who would follow simple kind of clothing. But majorly we have somebody who would want something which is very loud, something which attracts other people.
Right, even I want to add one more point that colors are also going to be affected for the Indian mentality. Means colors needs to be very vibrant, a colorful kind of means even we come from the festival background. There are n number of festivals which are there into celebrated into our country, and all the festivals having different kind of a color schemes also. And even fashion designers or the fashion trend is such that different kind of a colors been introduced into complete year as well. So the colors are definitely playing the vital role for the defining the fashion industry into India. And what means, as you said, the glitter part is there, the embroidery part is must be there, the Indian masala needs to be there. Then and then we can adopt the international designs. I just wanted to know the difference. Means, as you said, I want to more emphasize on that what is the difference between the international designs and the Indian designs? Means you have given me some points into that, but I need to understand that what is the difference into the international designs?
The international
And
design, yeah.
yeah, and one more point to it, if Indian fashion designer introducing that collection, their collection into the international market, so what are the things they need to take into consideration?
So, like I said, that internationally the designs are very subtle. They are very simple but very elegant. So our Indian designers, when they're presenting abroad, they will, create a garment or if I give you an example, say of a gown, the gown would be very elegant with different cuts and different kind of a silhouette that is there. Not like what we have in India, which is just a A-line or, with a lot of flair, circular kind of a thing. But it'll be very body hugging. It would be elegant. You minimal usage of embroidery or not. Say there is no embroidery also, but there is a different cut, and you've used a fabric which in itself has like a jacquard or a brocade, which is different and it stands out. So the person who is the designer who is going to showcase abroad or wants to get into the international market would keep such things in mind and then design, because then he has to just put himself away from the Indian market. Otherwise, there is a problem.
Absolutely, means they need to understand what are the requirements on the international market and they should introduce into their own style also. Because until unless you have that kind of flavor into your designs, a USP or the standalone thing into the market couldn't be defined. And even if you want to make a mark or leave a mark into the fashion industry, then you should carry certain USP or the standalone thing or specific kind of an introduction that if that is coming into your design, that means this tag could be this kind of a fashion designer. So that identity needs to be created by each and every designer.
That is going to be the USP, because anybody walking into your brand or seeing your outfit on somebody should know that okay, this is a RIMAY collection, say a Payal collection. Like how we can differentiate when we see a Manish Malhotra collection and when we see a Sabyasachi collection. So that is going to be a USP, which is very different and out of the box, but still you are in trend. It is not totally just something that is you can't accept.
Absolutely, means they should have a USP with the current trend or the upgradation of the fashion needs to be understood. And as if this is the creative thing, you have all the freedom. But into freedom also you should have a fixed frame for working yourself. So that will be the identity into your creativity.
Yes, correct. So even when
Now
you are,
we
yeah, even when
yeah
you're
please.
presenting yourself in day-to-day wear, people do know you by a particular style that you are always carrying with you. So that is something that makes you different from the crowd, and that is why maybe people know you. That's how people know you, that okay, this person has a different style of the way he's talking or presenting himself, or something that is different from the others. So in the same way, we should have a particular style in our designs which is known to people, and that is how they will know that okay, this is a so and so collection.
Absolutely, means I got your point that when people are, means how they appear into their day-to-day life, and for the entrepreneurs also there is a term called image building or image branding. So into image branding and image, that kind of a building also, they need to take care of their fashion also. That how you are going to appear into the public and what kind of events you are attending, what kind of things you are attending. So you should also take care of the fashion as well. When you are carrying yourself into different activities, then it is very much important that how you can introduce yourself as a complete personality, and the fashion is the major part of it because it's a visual thing. So first of all, it is going to connect visually. Means any appearance is going to be counted visually first, and the fashion is the thing where it is going to play a vital role.
Yes. So, like we discussed earlier, when students pass out, the first thing that we teach them is that they have to be different in the way they're presenting themselves. Where while they're doing their course, we have them doing different presentations. They dress up in a different manner. We teach them different combinations and everything. But when you're presenting yourself differently, and when you are wearing something which is not generally seen by the others, people are going to come to you. If I see a new boutique on my street, I am not just going to walk in. But if I see somebody in there who is nicely styled or is wearing something which is different, even the window display, the visual is different, then I would still walk into that. And when I talk to the designer, the confidence that I'm going to get is by his presentation skills, the way he has presented himself, the way he has approached me. So it's not about just creating something new, but it's about the entire look of a person where I would judge not only me but any lay person also would judge that अगर इसने अच्छे कपड़े पहने हैं तो वो मुझे अच्छे कपड़े देगा. And if like sometimes we have a bad hair day, sometimes we are just not in the mood to get ready, then if we are going to be lethargically dressed, nobody is going to like that. Maybe that is the day when you were expecting a big order, and because the way you are dressed, you're not going to get it. So in the designing field, you cannot have a bad day at all. You have to be on your toes. So again, that research thing, like when we are always doing different things according to the different body type also. So that plays a major role when you have to be the USP of your own brand, which you just started say a month back. You can't expect everybody to just walk into your store and give you business. There has to be something unique and something different, which is only going to be seen when they see you as a person.
Absolutely. You rightly said that designer needs to be on their toe if they want to get into the market and establish themselves, and they need to be ready whatever the situation is, whether into their personal life, but they need to ready when anyone walking into their boutique, then they should able to understand the requirement and they should deliver what is being needed by the customer. I want to ask you one question that JD Institute is the award-winning institute, and
Yeah.
I've met Mr. Dalal also. He's very kind and very helpful, and even very exploring into the fashion industry. So I need to understand. Means I'm not sure whether this question can be answered by you now. What is the planning of the JD Institute for upcoming future?
Like our founder's vision, we want to make India a fashion hub. This is what we want to do, and this is what we want to achieve by following sustainability. Because we do not want to harm the nature, we do not want to cause any further problem to us by harming our nature, but we would like students to do innovative designs, eco-friendly designs, and be sustainable. So that is what our founders have taught us, and we are following it, and hopefully we will achieve their dream of making India the fashion hub.
That's really wonderful vision. Means this is very much important. Let's the fashion industry or the fashion designing is the very much important segment of human life also. So, in perspective of the academic section of the fashion industry, it is very much important that this kind of knowledge needs to be delivered so that this industry can be commercialized on a bigger or the global scale, and that can be done only by the upcoming generation, and that upcoming generation should get all the knowledge and how they can come up with a different kind of a products or the services for the upcoming season also. So this is wonderful job which has been done by the JD Institute. I really appreciate your efforts and all the goals which has been there. We really appreciate and we really wish you that all the success can be possible through all of your efforts.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
I will ask you one more question into this. That as you said that you have such kind of visions and this kind of a planning is there. So, if is there any kind of a commercial segments where fashion designers are getting
I
the
have to ask
support
you
from the Devi
again.
Institute? Yeah, I'm just asking you. Are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I'm asking you that is there any kind of a support in terms of establishing any fashion designer who has been passing out or who passed out from the institute? So is there any kind of a marketing kind of a guidance or any kind of a establishment kind of a guidance which is being provided by the JD Institute?
Yeah, so when you are a JDN, once a JDN is always a JDN. We offer placements after the course, and if, say, by chance, if you want to do something after doing assisting, or after interning for a few months, and then if you want to start up, they always come back to us. We support them and we help them with, their marketing skills and all those things where we help them do their creatives, also support them in giving them a shout out, because that is, I think, now what is needed at this moment. So we do help them. It's not that, once you pass out, we're going to forget you. We are always there for them, and we will always help them in whatever way we can.
Right. Even I have observed one thing. There are n number of boutiques right now into the city or the second tier cities also. I want to ask this question that I have observed if there are 100 boutiques into town, then there are only 2 to 5 different kind of a boutiques or the fashion designers who does the marketing of it. But other boutiques are not doing any kind of a marketing activities or different kind of a approach to that. So somehow I need to understand that what kind of efforts is being done to make students aware that what is the importance of the marketing your brand, and is there any kind of a, inclusion of academics the where they are aware that how the marketing needs to be done when they are coming up with their own brand into the market, because that is the thing which I am not able to see into the market, that everybody is doing what efforts which has been required.
Yeah, so that is why there is a course called fashion marketing, where they will learn how to, because when you're opening your own store or something, you can't just design something which is going to be accepted in a particular market. Say, if I'm talking about Bombay, if something is accepted in Bandra, it's not necessary that the same thing is going to be accepted in Borivali side, or say, Pedder Road. It's not going to be accepted that way. So you basically, when you're doing marketing, you need to do a lot of market research, and you need to study the area where you're going to open the store. Then you need to also decide that what is the age group that you are going to focus on, and then understand people over there and probably take their interviews or do like a short survey on them and decide that okay, this is the kind of people that I have, and then accordingly I can start with a particular kind of fashion. You can't just pick up anything because like you said that there are hundreds of stores that are available, but only two or three out of them would do marketing. These two or three that are doing marketing properly or have studied the market and have done their research well, I think that those are the stores who would be successful and who would be doing better than the others present.
Absolutely, it is very much about. I'm really happy that there is a fashion marketing which is there into academics because it is very much important. The most important factor into fashion design, definitely they are going to hire by the corporate companies into their fashion departments or the textile designing or the different kind of segments are there. But when it comes to the entrepreneurship for the fashion designers, it is very much important at the initial stage that marketing needs to be taken into consideration because at the initial stage, until and unless your brand is aware, uh, then then only your success could be possible. And it is to understand that how you can
I've lost you again.
I'm extremely sorry. I just thrown out of the studio and just logged in again.
No problem.
Technology always fails when it comes to the human mind.
Yes, that is why I miss the blackboard while teaching.
Yeah, absolutely. So session was really interesting. I just want to ask you another question that if any fashion designer is looking for, since we were talking about the fashion marketing, that they should get aware about the fashion marketing and they should establish their brand, that they can market their brand into the local market and local competition and make their mark into the industry. So there is a certain kind of support and the subject is also there into the academics that that is important to make them aware that how they can do the commercialization of this particular profession. I will come to the next point, that how JD Institute means if any student is looking for getting admissions to the JD Institute, how they can get connected with the JD Institute, what would be the website address or what would be the contact, how they can approach to you. And then my next question will be for the established fashion designers. So first thing, how students can get connected with the JD Institute.
Our website is jdinstituteoffashiontechnology.com, and they can follow us on Instagram again as JD Institute of Fashion Technology. Our Facebook page is also the same, JD Institute of Fashion Technology Mumbai. So, it's very easy to get, and obviously, they would have our numbers and all when they visit the site.
Absolutely, and even you are having different kind of branches into the Mumbai suburb as well.
Yes, we have 38 branches across India.
Absolutely. So I would ask you that JD Institute is existing from this 1988. So it's a quite a long period and a lot of decades are there. So how was the journey when you started? I'm not sure how was the journey, and right now what is the situation? And I'm sure that fashion industry is making mark right now. Means that is the contributor to the GDP also. So how this industry is going ahead, and I want to ask you specific question that what will the future of this industry, like let's take an example, into next 20-30 years, what is your forecast in regards to this industry?
See, when we had started with one center in Mumbai, and we've slowly grown with two centers, three centers, and now reached 38 centers. At
Wonderful,
JD
wonderful.
Institute, we believe in quality education. It's not that, and our syllabus is definitely much more and much in depth with the trends that are there. And like even in a 1 year course, we teach them 12 garments, how to stitch 12 garments, which at present nobody is offering. So we have a lot of in-depth knowledge that we give to our students, and it's not only about a course. If you're doing a fashion design course, it's not that we are going to restrict to the knowledge of only fashion design, but we are also going to help them with styling, with because we have different mentors who come and take sessions with them, and also our faculties are trained in such a way that they keep taking presentations, or they keep having these weeks in college, like how you and me had attended college and we had, like the rose day or the formal day and all those things. So here at JD, we have days where we ask them to style in a particular way, maybe adapt a particular culture, maybe adapt to a particular kind of an era, because in fashion, history is also very important. So how fashion evolved and how everything came into existence. So we do all these things for them, where we are bringing them uh, to, we are giving them everything in a short span of time. And when you ask me about 20, 30 years down the line, definitely this industry is going to be a boom, because fashion is loved by everybody. So there is no way that we're going to see any kind of recession or something. It's just that our advice at JD Institute, being the director or even the founder's vision, we would encourage students and also request people and parents not to be rigid with the kind of feeling that they have about fashion design. Just accept it and let your child do what he is passionate about. Let him or her achieve their dreams, and we will teach them how to be stand out of the crowd and also give back to mother nature by doing sustainable designs. So this is what we see is the future, and this is what we want to achieve.
That's really fantastic. Means you rightly said that parents should encourage their children to get into the fashion industry and upcoming 20, 30 years also growing industry, so that they will have a lot of career opportunities and they can opt this this is as a serious career option, so that they can explore the opportunities. And also this is the creativity field or the creative field, you can say,
Yes,
that they can explore their challenges also the creative industry, and it will help them to enhance their personality into their personal as well as the professional life. So this is
correct.
really a good session from your side. The complete analysis part is there. We have seen the scope for the students, we have seen the procedure how student can be a part of this industry. Even we discuss about the established fashion designers, how they can grow themselves, how they can establish themselves as a brand into the market, how they can introduce themselves into the international market. So that it is most important, you said that your uniqueness, your special uh, the characteristic or the attribute into design that needs to be recognized, identified, and the marketed. So these are the stages which is very much important, so that they can have a long term kind of a career in front of them. So thank you so much, Payal Dalalji. I thanks to the Mr. Dalal also, who being part of this session unexpectedly also. So नेक्स्ट स्टॉक्स का आप भाग हो, जेडी इंस्टीट्यूट इसका पार्ट हुआ. और we are really thankful to Payal Dalal ma'am that you have given such a wonderful information which can be helpful for the audience, and they can implement such kind of a knowledge into their profession, and also for the students they can opt this as a serious career. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me on board.
Thank you so much, ma'am.